You're live.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Notice has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting a copy of the notice on the first floor of the municipal building and sending a copy to the Montclair Times, Star Ledger, and Herald News. This is a public hearing in which any members of the public are welcome to attend. The meeting agenda is available on the Montclair website, as is a link to the township's YouTube channel where the hearing can be viewed live or after the fact. The hearing is also being televised on Channel 34. And then we have one change to the agenda to announce tonight. Application 2932 for 120 Watchung Avenue for applicants Jarnail Singh and Novdeep Singh Sandhu has been postponed to December 17th, 2025 without the need for further public notice. So if anyone in the audience is here for that application, we kindly ask that you return on that date for that hearing. That is December 17th, 2025. Thank you. And I will call the roll. Chair McCullough.
Here.
Mr. Caulfield.
Here.
Vice Chair Simon is not present today. Mr. Church is not present. Ms. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Present.
Mr. Vieira is not present. Ms. Grant is not present. Mr. Griffith?
Here.
Perfect. Mr. Cruz?
Here.
And then Mr. Drill is here. Okay?
Thank you. All right, we'll turn to the approval of the minutes for October 15th. And I didn't have any corrections to the minutes. However, I'd like to have you just circle 193 and 194 on page 6, just because there's a question that I want to ask when we get to the resolution, okay? Page 6, line 193, 194. It doesn't have to be exact, just so you're in the approximate location. Does anyone else have any corrections to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the
Second?
minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
Abstention.
Thank you. All right. With that, then we'll move to the draft resolution related to application 294649 Northview Avenue, William Barry. I don't have any corrections to be made to the resolution. Does anyone else have any corrections to be made to the resolution? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? And then we'll move to the resolution for application 2943, 31 Gray Street, Kristen Hull and Earl Brown. And I don't have any corrections to the minutes, although I have a question that I'd like to pose to Mr. Drill, if I may. And this again relates to the minutes that I asked you to be, to note. In this resolution, we make reference on page 2, paragraph 8. And here we make reference to the number of vehicles that can be utilized on this property. This is tandem parking, as you may recall. And then there was a conversation about whether or not they would have an additional car that would be sitting in the driveway closer to the street. The minutes reflect that we had conversation about that, and the homeowner indicated that he did not intend for them to have more than 2 cars on the property. So the question I'm really posing is whether or not the language in the resolution is strong enough to, do we need language that prohibits a third vehicle, or is it all right for it to remain as it is?
I answer the question 2 ways. In my opinion, but I am very strict on conditions,
Yes.
probably more strict than Mike is.
Mrs. Sullivan, yes.
Right. I would have a condition in there. Now, what Mike would say is take a look at condition number 6. And you can say this, because he told me, when you're down there tonight, if they approve an application, there's 2 conditions, make sure they remember to put them in. Take a look at condition number 6.
Now, where are you looking now?
The applicant shall be bound with all representations made of.
That's on page 4.
I'm
On
sorry.
page 4?
Yes.
On
Number
page
6.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, condition page 4, condition number 6.
Yes.
The applicant shall be bound by all representations made on their behalf during the course of the public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, if they said, we will not park more than 2 cars in the driveway, condition 6 will cover it, but I would still recommend having a condition saying you can't have more than 2 cars parked in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
But they said they don't intend, right? So there's only 2 cars and do not plan to use the driveway. And then your paragraph that you pointed out in the resolution, paragraph 8 on page 2,
Mm-hmm.
says they do not intend to use it. They said in the minutes, they don't plan on using it. This is, they don't intend to use it. If they don't plan it and they don't intend it, if their plans change and there's no condition prohibiting it, it's gonna be hard, in my opinion, to take condition 6 and use it, because it's not really, it's a representation of their current intent, not a prohibition. So I put it to the board. It's up to you people to decide what you want to do about it, but to me, if they later change their mind, your condition 6, in my opinion, would not be enough to cover it. Now, if you don't care about that, then leave it like it is, but if you care about that, and you think it's important because you didn't grant the variance, based on them saying they weren't gonna have a 3rd car, then you should impose another condition, but it's totally up to you. That's my legal advice. I'm
Right.
sorry to sound wishy-washy on it.
No, you're very clear. So just the one thing, I just want to make sure, for the purposes of our recording, so it is within the purview of this board
Yes,
to impose a restriction.
that's correct, on the basis that they didn't seek a variance.
But they did, and I think we approved
Yeah,
it.
that was granted.
Yeah.
Where is that variance granted?
It's the first whereas.
On page 1 of the resolution, that is,
Which,
under that second whereas, it's number 4. The variance from 347-26 feet to permit parking in the front
all
yard.
right, they requested that.
They requested it and it was approved at the last hearing.
On page 3, the first whereas,
Okay.
under paragraph 12.
Now therefore, I'm looking at, so whereas is what the board's findings, the board's conclusions. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Adjustment that the application for side yard, setback, building coverage, parking location, retaining wall and fence height, and story count variances are approved. So which is the,
The parking location, so the parking between the main, the parking between the main dwelling and the curb of the street is one of the variants that was requested. What they let us know is that that was a technicality for them because they only have 2 vehicles and they don't intend to have more. But if there's a future tenant,
well, that's what I'm asking. What did they say that? Did they say that?
yes, they did.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did say that they themselves only have 2 vehicles.
Right, I understand that, I see that.
Right.
Did they say that they would want to use that variance in the future in case they had a tenant or in case their plans changed?
They didn't say that explicitly, but we did grant the variance because it was requested.
Well, you granted it because technically it was required.
Yeah.
So you have to decide what, you granted it because it was technically required, but you weren't gonna allow a third car to be parking there, or you granted it because it was technically required. They didn't currently intend to do that, but if it changed in the future, the
They have
variance
the
will
op-
cover it. That's what
correct.
you guys have to hold yourselves on. And if you think it's the latter, then the resolution as it stands is fine. If you think it was the former, then you should probably change something.
So, I'd like to open the floor for discussion about this, to see what the feelings of the board are, and whether or not we need to take an action. So,
I mean, I think we went with the latter option. I think we granted the variance, and they have the option to use it in the future.
I'll take the lather, what Angela said. I'm just not sure how you enforce that. I'll let, put it in your book and say, oh, it's a third car, let me go get them. So I'd rather just do it the way that is.
I agree as well with the latter.
I agree as well, but I also abstain because I wasn't at the last meeting.
I'm going to abstain from it, but I personally don't think that we should be approving allowing cars to park in the front yard.
Were you here at the last meeting? Voting on
I
it?
was here at the last meeting,
Yes.
and I did not vote.
Okay. So-
No, Mr. Griffith, you did vote at the last meeting.
I thought I didn't want to vote.
No, there was a bit of a confusion because Mr. Cruz did not vote, and Mr. Sullivan thought that you couldn't vote, but then you did vote.
yes.
So now you can say it and act on it.
In my opinion, I don't think we should be approving cars parking in the front yard unless there's hardship that makes it reasonable to approve it. There was no hardship presented in my mind, and therefore I don't see any reason for it. I thought we granted
What you're
more
saying
than
is,
enough.
what you're saying is, if you voted to grant it, you granted it, but you granted a technical variance because there's a driveway there. and you didn't have to-
I'm not even gonna go down that road, okay? I just told you what I thought, and I'm not going any more detail than that, because I'm not that familiar with the law and the detail that you're talking about, okay? All right.
I think Mr. Griffith and I are in very similar places on this, in that I think that if we were being asked specifically as a zoning board, whether or not we felt that it would be detrimental to the neighborhood for vehicles to be potentially permanently parked in the driveway, that we would, without justification, because given the fact that there is tandem parking available on the property, we might very well have taken a very different position. With that said, I think hearing what the feelings of the zoning board, I'll also take the position that I'll support leaving the resolution the way that it currently stands.
If you put it to a vote, and you guys said no, you would say yes in any event to adopt it.
Right.
But let's make a motion
So-
and see what happens.
Yep, motion to approve resolution as written.
Second?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Two abstentions, okay, it is approved. Okay. All right. Just give me a moment here while I. All right, we're going to move to a new business, and we'll move to application 2941, 105 Wildwood Avenue, Victoria, Monte. And this is application for variance to demolish the existing two-car garage and construct a new expanded two-car garage in the same location. The property is in the R1 one-family zone district and is designated on the township tax maps as Lot 39 in Block 3505. A variance is requested from Montclair Code 347-46A 2A to permit a side yard setback for accessory structures of 2.38 feet, where a minimum of 6 feet is required. Is this application in order? Have taxes been
Yes,
paid?
taxes are paid
public
and
notice has been
public
made.
notice is in order.
All right. Who is representing? Please come forward to the microphone. You're welcome. Please have a seat. You both will be speaking.
So please just make sure you press the push button on the microphone.
And let me get all three of you sworn in.
Three?
Two applicants and the
Oh.
board planning. Everyone raise the right hand. And you all solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give in this matter is true, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I did.
All right, you're welcome.
Can you identify yourself for the record?
I'm Victoria Monte, the owner.
I'm Nash Waters, the architect on the project.
All right. And what's your name again, sir?
Nash Waters?
Nash Waters.
Yep.
And does he need to present his credentials?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Qualified as a architect, you licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey and New York. I've been practicing professionally for over a decade. I've taught at the university level architectural design studios, and I've had my own practice operating in New Jersey since 2019.
Have you been accepted as an architect or lecturer for any other planning boards or boards of adjustment in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I have.
Essex County?
Yeah. Yeah, Glen Ridge and also multiple places in Union County as well.
Anyone have any questions on his qualifications?
No, we'll accept his qualifications. Thank you. So, Mr. Waters, will you be making the initial presentation on behalf of your client, or?
Yes.
All right, you're welcome. Please.
All right. So as we noted, there is an existing two-car garage that's kind of undersized for modern vehicles, and also the existing garage is within the 2.38 foot setback. That's where that number came from. That's the existing condition. And then also the existing garage is in very poor condition. The ridge beam is cracked. The concrete slab is damaged and cracked throughout. There's multiple rafters. There's the garage doors barely go up. There's a side door that's angled. There's photos on the last page for reference. You can kind of see some of those existing conditions. They actually don't use it at all in any capacity because it feels dangerous going inside of it. So it feels like it should come down one way or another. And since they will have to rebuild it, the idea is to expand it slightly so it can accommodate the vehicles. And also, the expansion would allow for them to use it as storage for things such as gardening tools and like lawn mowers, lawn equipment at that backside as well. Because they would rather not put an additional shed in their yard for storage as part of that. Yeah, that's kind of the major scope of the project. And then we're not changing the height of the structure. We're keeping the same height and also the same eave height as well. And this has also gone through the Historic Preservation Commission review as well.
Anything else you'd like to?
I don't think so. Do you have any questions? Anything specific?
Mhm. Are there questions of Mr. Waters?
Mr. Waters, will you be maintaining the slab foundation for the existing?
No, we won't. We'll be removing that entirely, yeah. Just because it's cracked and damaged throughout that it doesn't seem practical.
Okay, and typically there's a minimum six-foot side yard setback. Is there any reason? It looks like there's room in the yard to be able to comply with that. Is there any
Yeah,
reason?
so it's a narrow lot of 50 feet, and by shifting it over, it starts to really center it in the middle of the yard rather than being off to one side, and would likely need to expand the driveway more. And it's kind of hard to see on these images, but there's a 40-inch diameter tree on the right-hand side of this garage as well. So moving it over would start to impact that and probably damage the root system.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Caulfield?
You wouldn't have any issues moving it, instead of the 2.47, moving it 3 feet from the side property line?
I think we'd rather just keep the existing condition as is, just to simplify it. It already aligns with the existing driveway.
But 6 inches wouldn't damage that, you know, it's a 6-inch movement. I don't know how much that would do that. Because we usually grant variances for garages at 3 feet, usually. I mean, I know we have a 6-foot thing, but usually it's 3 feet. We've granted that.
Yeah, I guess we're trying to preserve like every inch possible because of that tree on the opposite side.
I got you. I think 6 inches is not going to get you that close there, in that sense, to the tree. Are you going to redo the driveway over?
We will after, the project, 'cause that's probably the last thing to do, but the driveway cannot get any wider because the house is on one side and the edge of the property is on the other. And then we have an existing patio that is already, it's already a structure that's existing, and then the tree, would have to be, removed or damaged in order to go further in if we are required to do so.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Cruz?
Do you have the diameter of the tree listed on the plans at all, or?
Let's see, I think it's, where did I see that? It's 40 inches. I don't know if you have this, the application for development packet here. On page 3, it's a bullet point that carries over at the top of that page. Encroach on existing 40-inch diameter tree in its root system.
Okay.
And there's also an existing footpath to the rear yard. Yeah, at the very top. It's a carried over bullet point from page 2. Yeah. And I forgot there's an existing footpath along that side as well between the garage and that tree that slips between there that we're trying to maintain.
And then when you rebuild the garage, you'd be reconstructing the slab?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some photos. Yeah, on page V5, the existing photos 3. There's one, the second photo. You can see the slab, and it's just kind of cracked and falling apart. And that's just one condition of many similar conditions throughout.
Those are all the questions I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moore?
Yes. Do you have any issues with complying with the recommendations from the Historic Preservation Commission?
Remind me the recommendation. I think there's one about the window type. That was the only one I recall.
Yeah, that was the only recommendation
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware of. Were there others?
No, that was the only
Yeah.
one
Okay,
about
and you're fine with that?
the pane of the windows, the 6 versus 4.
I think so, yeah. I think we'd want to review it because the proportion of the windows are slightly different that we're showing too. Because it's really dark inside also, so we're trying to get more natural light into the inside of the garages also by increasing the size of the window. So I don't know that grid would architecturally make the most sense for the new proportion window. It might look a little
And if I
odd.
may speak on that with, kind of bringing in more light, the area is north facing and there are a lot of trees.
Excuse me, would you just come a
Oh,
little
so
closer to the
sorry,
mic?
sorry.
Is the green light on?
It is on, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
Is this better?
Yes,
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
What was I saying? If I can speak on that, so the backyard is north-facing, and in addition to using the garage for storage, as Nash said, gardening tools and a lawnmower, we'd also be having it as a kind of indoor play space for my son. And I would love for it to just have a little bit more natural light for him to kind of play in the cold, dark winter months.
Okay. Is there any electrical tied to the garage?
There is an existing electrical line.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's light fixtures, I know, on the exterior at least.
Thank you.
No, they didn't. Yeah. Mr. Griffith,
Sorry, I was looking at your elevations to understand the difference between the existing and the new. So you did draw slightly larger windows, and the Historic Preservation Commission asked that you retain and replicate the scale and fenestration pattern of existing garage windows, specifically the proportions of the divided light style of the original 6-pane windows rather than the proposed 4-pane. And so I kind of think in terms of maybe splitting the difference. Big windows, give them their 6 panes they're asking for. I don't think it'll make any difference on the amount of light that gets into the room. But how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'll kind of defer a little bit, but like architecturally, I don't love the idea. But if you're saying it's a requirement, that's different. But if it's a recommendation, I would push back a little bit and say we'd like to keep it as open as possible.
Earl, give us a second. So I noticed in the design that you don't have a side door to the garage, you just have a back door and 2 garage doors in the front.
That's correct.
It's rather unusual.
Yeah, I guess the idea is that the storage space will be along the back, because you see, like, most of the yard itself is towards the back.
I understand, I
And so
saw
for
the layout,
accessibility,
it's 24 by 24, you got the maximum footprint, makes perfect sense. You did
Yeah.
a nice job proportionally, it's the same garage. You made the windows a little bigger, it's a very nice job. But it is curious to me to see the door in the back, which you walk around the garage every time you go in and out of the garage with a car, unless you manually open and close the garage doors and make that your access. So it's a little funny to me. That's why I asked. It exists in the existing conditions. You have the door that's shouldered into the window and looks really weird. I can appreciate you didn't want to recreate that.
Yeah, the idea is that the back portion is where the storage is going to be. So in terms of this accessibility and pulling things in and out, that's where it made the most sense functionally. for
Understood.
us.
On the south elevation, is it? So above the garage doors, there's a large horizontal element that connects the 2 doors. What is that?
That's just a piece of trim, an architectural
Flat
element.
trim?
Yeah.
It's
flat
not
trim.
a little mini
No.
shingle thing, or?
No, just keeping it simple and modest.
Okay. And the materials for the garage?
So we're still pricing that out. That's gonna be kind of next steps. We're looking at possibly using cedar shake, but I know that's extremely expensive right now. So we're considering alternative materials, synthetic materials that would match the existing house.
Could you say something like, we're not going to use vinyl?
The current house that we completely did has vinyl shakes.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm asking you on the garage, could you say that you won't use vinyl? You could use cement, hardy board cedar shingle, hardy board shingle or something like that to get the same look.
May I ask why that is a request?
Vinyl's not a nice material for the environment, and so we like to try and deter people from using it so that we can all, maybe our children can live a longer life, and maybe we can. Just saying. So it's a question I ask.
I'd have to think about it.
Okay. So the difference between 3 foot and the 2.37 or whatever, it's like 8 inches, right? Between the ask and the setback that you're asking for?
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah, okay, all right. I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Monte, let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
So first of all, I want to understand the property. So I noticed that there is like a, I'm gonna say like a Belgian block kind of, it's not really a wall, but sort of that separates your neighbor's property from yours, which would be to the left of the garage. It runs the length of the driveway. Is that the property line? Is that what?
It's kind of like those blocks are our property, but right after it is our neighbor's property.
Okay, and so the huge tree that's sitting on the left side of the garage, is that on your property, or is that on your neighbor's
one-
property, or is that shared property?
The 40-foot one?
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah, 40-inch diameter one, it's
Yeah.
on the right-hand
Yeah,
side.
it's our property.
If you're coming up the driveway, it's on the right-hand
Mhm.
side.
Yeah, it's behind the house, it's our property.
Okay. It's on the right-hand side or the left?
Yeah, so if you're coming into the driveway, you're talking about the, like the house is on the left side if you're coming into the driveway.
Yes, okay, all right, okay.
I
So.
meant the right side, sorry. I get my left and rights mixed up, sorry.
All right, so that tree is on
My
your
property,
your
correct.
property, okay. And was that tree part of the problem of the eventual wear and tear of the current garage?
No.
So, I noticed that there was a reference to the roof line having sort of sloped inward. Was that just because of aging, or that wasn't because of?
Age and disuse.
And disuse, okay, all right. So, several members of the board have raised a question about whether or not, just given the scope of the yard, whether or not you could facilitate moving that garage, since you're doing a complete demolition, apparently including the cement base, whether or not it would not be in the best interest to simply move that garage over just a little bit. Are you open to that possibility, or are you totally opposed to that?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're here. We would like to keep it the same because of the reasons of, existing driveway, existing patio. It's close to our property line and abutting the house as well, and the tree.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, okay, all right. You mentioned that the garage, you foresee there being some space in the garage for a child of yours to be able to have some activity space in there. So there would be space for 2 vehicles plus space for a child to play. That's what your vision is?
And yeah, space for a vehicle, and then the other side would be storage and an area for a child to play.
So not necessarily 2 vehicles would be in the garage?
2 vehicles as well, yeah.
As well,
Yeah.
okay, all right, okay. And then the question was raised about the door in the back. And is there anything that would separate the area where the child would play from that door?
Yeah, we would have like, I guess, I'm thinking container store, you know how the container store like has those shelves that you can have kind of built in, like, just kind of alongside to kind of separate the car area and store area from the, from the activity play area.
I noticed that there was I think there was a pipe on the side of the garage. Is that a water pipe, or is?
Yeah, it was a hose bib.
Is that active or could be active?
It
or-
is.
It is active. Okay, so the shut-off is in the house apparently, or
Mhm.
something like that, okay.
Yeah.
And then, as far as lighting, one other question is, do you anticipate having any electric vehicles inside
No.
the garage? Okay, so you will not accommodate that kind of electricity, okay. And so otherwise, just say something about the lighting that you anticipate in the garage or external to the garage?
Yeah, so for the external lights, you can see on the elevation on page V4, drawing 2. There'll be, we don't know what the spec is for the fixture, but 3 kind of wall-mounted sconces on each side of one on each side of the garage door, one in the middle, as well as probably a floodlight at the top. And then on the back side, there'll be a wall sconce next to the door as well.
Okay.
And then on the interior, there will be ceiling lights as well.
And would the, in terms of the external lighting, do you anticipate that having any kind of negative impact on your neighbors?
Oh, no.
No, it's gonna be, it's gonna be like almost decorative in a way. It's not
Like,
gonna,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
there'll
like a
be a
sconce.
floodlight for safety for when that's necessary, but that won't be used regularly.
All right. All right. All right, other questions from the board?
Just,
Ms. Harris?
yeah, out of curiosity, on V4, drawing 2, there's something shown on the roof, on the right side of the roof. Are you planning a skylight?
Where are you looking?
I'm on page V4.
Drawing 2?
2. On the right side of that roof, there's some kind of structure, some kind of object on there. What is that?
Yeah, it's not on my printed set, sorry. Yeah, I think we might have been entertaining that at one point, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because, yeah, we were talking about bringing more, not maximizing natural light.
It's not?
What page are you on again?
V4?
Looks like a skylight on her print, but it's not on our print.
Okay, but you're not,
Oh, yes, it is.
you're not considering that anymore, is that what you?
We are still considering it to maximize the natural light on the interior. I think that's probably gonna come down to, we have to meet with the contractor and kind of go through some budget items as well.
Thank you.
Good eyes, it is on there.
Other questions? Mr. Cruz?
Yes, so I noticed that it appears that you are increasing the impervious coverage by more than 250 square feet, correct? Between the garage, the proposed paved driveway, the proposed patio.
Yeah, so, actually, the proposed patio,
That's already existing, and we
Yeah.
have a stormwater management plan in place already installed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've spit, because in the existing, it doesn't show the pad, so the deck and the patio have already been installed.
And there is a stormwater management plan, drain like already installed underneath it. We went through all the channels and had that in place.
And when did this occur?
Last summer? Yeah, yeah.
And then I noticed, so the tree to the left of the garage, can you talk about that a bit?
Behind the garage or
the ones to the left, was that removed?
Yeah.
The one that's like,
The one in front, I can't tell too
Yeah.
well by the,
like,
from the picture.
Right by the driveway. As you come in.
Do you have the planning report? It's on page 3 of the
like the
plan
big one
report.
that's,
Yeah, the old one.
yeah. Can I see that?
Mine's black.
Or if we don't have it?
It's terrible because we don't get all this stuff in
Do you
advance.
mind, sorry. Do you mind if I come and see?
Take it.
This is not our property.
It's on the line now.
This is in the front of.
Side.
Yeah, I It's not technically our property.
Is it, I don't see it on the survey or the plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still there, but it's not our property.
About how far away from the garage would you say it is?
I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Ms. Monte, if you could just return to the mic, sorry.
Sorry, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head.
Okay. So, again, but to bring it back to the stormwater, so if, so right now, the deck and the patio have been done, but the driveway and the garage have not been done.
Correct.
So if I was to combine the proposed improvement of the driveway and the proposed improvement of the garage, would that require more stormwater management?
That's a good question. I'd ask Nash, but it would be, so, anything over 250 square foot would require additional stormwater management, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, where's your existing system located?
Under the patio.
Okay. And it's, what are you using?
I'd have to ask the landscapers that installed it. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my
Did
head.
it, if you recall, did it look like a tank, or was it like a whole bunch of like stone and
Stone.
lots of, no giant, no tank?
There was like a tank. It was like, they put like a hole in the ground.
Okay.
And they had put stone, and we had like a soil analysis done. So I think it's stone.
Okay, yeah, so that would be typical of what's done, which is
Yeah.
a dry well
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
stone.
I assume that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't involved in that project, so I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah, no,
but,
typically for
Yeah.
this scale of development, it's a dry well system, okay. And then, yeah, I have no further questions. Thank you.
We're going to open it up for comments, for questions from the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward and ask questions about this application? All right, there are none. Okay. All right. With that then, I think we're ready to move towards making a decision.
Can I ask if anyone in the public wants to make any sworn statements about the application?
All right, we'll do that. Are there any members of the public that would like to make any sworn statements about this application? Okay, all right. All right, so now we'll have discussion and move towards making a decision.
They want to finalize?
Yes, I'm going to invite them to. Yes, do you have any final comments before
no.
we?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Harris?
I think, you know, I understand the issue with the tree, the existing tree and the tree roots. However, I forget which one of my colleagues mentioned that typically we prefer to, if we are gonna grant a side yard variance, to grant at least 3 feet from the property line. We've had situations in town where there've been fires from adjacent structures on different properties, and so we're trying to avoid that. We're also trying to make sure that should your neighbor build something in the future, a fence or something on that side of the property, you would be able to get around it and maintain it. And 3 feet is a reasonable amount, so that would be the most I would be willing to grant in terms of the side yard variance here. In terms of the other issues, in terms of the siding, I don't know that bothers me that much. I'll leave it to the rest of my colleagues to discuss that.
All right.
Yeah, as we've stated before, we've always granted 3 feet. You know, the 6 feet is very hard, I agree. But I'm looking at your drawings, I don't necessarily think that 6 inches is going to impact the tree or your driveway. Thank you.
Screws?
Yeah, I agree with my colleagues. I'm generally in favor of the application with the 3-foot side yard setback and other measures, you know, make sure there's no light pollution on the neighbors, and any new coverage is tied into your existing system.
Mr. Moore?
I'm in favor of the application, and just like my colleagues, I'm in alignment with the restrictions that they've mentioned.
Mr. Griffith?
Yeah, I would agree with the 3-foot request of my colleagues. I'm sort of frustrated on the architectural aspect pointed out by the Historic Commission being not embraced to some degree, but we'll move on. I hope you don't use vinyl, but that's up to you. You can live with it. Thank you.
All right, well, I do think that the 3-foot side yard variance is reasonable. And I think that, we do try to be as consistent as we possibly can. There are certainly times in which we feel as though sufficient hardship has been proven, where we would in fact make an exception. But in this particular case, I think our sense is that there is sufficient space. We certainly understand your desire to want to maximize the amount of yard space for other activities. That's certainly not unreasonable. But I think that the 3-foot side yard variance is appropriate. And I would see that as a condition for.
Two ways of doing it.
Mhm.
One, you could say, in the motion, you deny the variance request for 2.37 feet, but you grant it.
Mr. Trill,
for
could
3
you
feet.
just put your, thanks.
I'd suggest, instead of granting the variance and then putting the condition on, deny the variance for 2.37 feet and grant the variance for 3 feet.
All right. So we'll look for you to make that statement when we're ready to put the motion before the body. And then there was a question that was raised about stormwater management, just given the renovation of the driveway and the garage. And so I think that there was a recommendation for that to be explored, just to make sure that this project remains in compliance. And I gather from your response that you're not opposed to that.
Yep.
So I'd like to see that as something that also we would include. Also, again, I think as one of our colleagues also mentioned, I mean, we certainly never know in terms of what kind of development other neighbors might choose to undertake. And so just given the intent to more fully utilize, or in fact to fully utilize this garage, because basically it has been not utilized for quite some time, that you make sure that the lighting is limited to your property and does not infringe upon the privacy of your neighbors. Are there any other conditions that members would like to see imposed? Yes, okay, all right.
I would just add that we'll include our standard conditions that Mr. Drill mentioned, that the applicant shall be bound by all representations made on their behalf during the course of the public hearing, and the applicant shall be responsible for all inspection fees and escrow fees incurred in connection with their review and approval of this application in accordance with Township Code 202-27.
All right. And Mr. Drill, are you ready to state that
Yes, and
condition?
the condition on lighting, it's a restriction on the floodlight can't be seen by neighbors. What exactly?
Would not infringe upon the privacy of the neighbors, yes.
I think that there's something in the code with regard to not having a direct line of sight to the light source. So that's what makes sense. If I could sit in my room and make hand puppets on the wall from your light, that's probably not good. But if your light is indirect to the ground and bouncing up, I probably can't do that. So it's a matter of direct line of sight to the light source from the neighboring
houses.
So something
It's
like
just a
lighting,
courtesy.
not to be seen by neighbors per ordinance, something like that?
Yes,
Have to look
yeah,
up the
per
ordinance?
Yeah,
ordinance
that'd
would
be
be
fine.
Okay.
sufficient. And then something similar with respect to the additional stormwater, all the stormwater management measures as required by the
Yeah,
township
I'll
engineer.
say the applicant shall provide stormwater management stormwater management measures as required by the township engineer and shall
Yeah,
undertake
good.
any additional studies or testing as required by the engineer.
Very good.
Right.
That's good. Okay, so, is the only variance being sought the side yard setback variance?
That is correct.
So then I suggest that the motion be made to deny the variance seeking a 2.37-foot setback, grant the variance for a 3-foot setback, subject to the conditions that have already been discussed on the record.
All right, is there a
So
motion?
moved.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Do a roll call?
Yes, I can do the roll call. Chair McCullough,
Yes.
Mr. Caulfield,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Griffith,
Yes.
and Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Congratulations, enjoy your new garage when you finally get it built. And our next application is number 2947, 14 College Avenue, Matthew Eiben and Jeena Moon. And this application is for a variance required to convert the existing attached garage into a home office. The property is in the R11 Family Zone District and is designated on the township tax maps as Lot 7 in Block 1511. A variance is requested from Montclair Code 34746C to permit parking in the front yard, as removing the garage would require that vehicles be parked in the paved area between the dwelling and the street. All right.
I'll just note that taxes are paid and the notice is in order. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. You're most welcome. Would you please identify yourselves?
Matthew Eiben.
Eric who? Schultz. Okay, can both of you and the board's planning expert raise your right hand? And do all of you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. And Mr. Schultz, will you be speaking initially on behalf of your client, or we?
Matt's going to speak first.
All right, Ms. Dybin. All right. I'm sorry?
Could you just please press the push button?
Of course.
Yes, thank you.
Always, that thing is over. Before we do that, though, can we please review your credentials, please?
Right.
I've been a licensed architect in New Jersey since 2004, and I have a practice here in Montclair since 2011.
Okay, have you testified before other planning boards or boards of adjustment in the
I've
state
been
of New
for
Jersey?
this board many times.
And you've been accepted as an expert before this board?
Yes.
And your license is still in good standing?
Yes.
You accept him as an architectural expert?
Yes. Yes. I know Mr. Schultz, yes. Yeah.
Okay. You're getting nervous there for a minute, weren't you?
Okay, I see. Thank you. All right. All right, Ms. Dybin, you're most welcome. Would you like to talk to us about your project?
Sure,
please?
very briefly. Good evening. I've lived in Montclair for 5 years. We live at 14 College Avenue with my wife, myself, and we have 3 kids, 8, 5, and 3 years old. The house is very small. It's 3 bedrooms. We have a small sunroom that my wife is currently using as her office space for 2 days a week when she's working remotely. And my kids generally do their homework, mainly our oldest at this point, on our kitchen table, which has been difficult in and itself, but to make matters a little bit more complicated, she was recently diagnosed with dyslexia, and we've been engaging in regular tutors at this point, at least twice a week. And it's just become very problematic because my other 2 kids are running around. This is like our primary living space. So what we're really looking to do with this renovation, with this conversion, is to find a space away from our living space that we can use kind of as a designated quiet study/office. Just another little nuance, my wife is also stepping away from, well, unofficially, stepping away from her very high-stress corporate job and is going back to school to become a therapist. So we'll be also needing to have kind of a more readily available at-home office. So she would be using the space for that as well. The garage itself is very small. We aren't able to fit any of our cars in there currently. So we have both cars in the driveway. We have a SUV and a small sedan. So this change really will not be changing how we park our cars. Again, I think maybe we could fit our small one in, but I don't think we could open the doors. It's very tight. So that's the reason why we're seeking this variance today.
Thank you.
So great. So I'm just going to quickly jump to the floor plans, like A1, just to show the existing garage, which you can see it's 16 feet long, which is, as Matt said, it's not long enough for a conventional sedan. So they park out 2 cars into the driveway, and they're side by side, not tandem, because there's not enough depth in the lot for tandem. A2 is the proposed plan of the office, which shows access to the office is by a new door in front of the stairway, 2 steps down, and then showing the window, the garage door being replaced by a window assembly. A3 shows the existing garage door. A4, which is up on the screen, shows the proposal, which is to the window assembly unit, which is an exact match for the living room window assembly, which has 2 double hung windows and a middle fixed pane. So the idea there is to match that exactly. Just to jump back to the site plan on T1, what exists there now is, for the 2 cars, is an 8-foot strip of patio pavers, and then a 10-foot strip of asphalt. And the asphalt runs up to the driveway. T2, which is our proposal, is to make the full 18 feet patio pavers, but then to stop it 5 feet short of the house where we would plant mulch and we'll have plantings, mulch and plantings, so that would add 50 square feet of pervious surface. And then with regard to the comments by the Historic Commission, they made some notes about the streetscape. I just want to hand out some additional photos just to add some context.
Okay, the ones you're pointing out, this has not been submitted to the board before, so let's mark this as exhibit A1. So this is, A1 is, looks like 11 by, 2 sheets, 11 by 17 with some pictures on it, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's A1 for you, and here is A1 for all the board members.
So the commission refers to this house type as a Cape Cod revival style. And their concern is removing a feature that removing the garage door upset the rhythm of the block and create an atypical facade. And I just want to point out that there are 12 houses on this block. Only 4 of them are of this type or this style. The other 8 don't have an attached garage and are a mix of pre-war, post-war colonials. These 4 houses, they are in a row, but they are bracketed by, to the north, 20 College Avenue, which is a pre-war colonial, and bracketed to the south by on the lower left photo, 8 College Avenue, which is a 4-square Victorian. So there's quite an eclectic mix of housing types on this block. And within that row of 4, there's quite a bit of variation in terms of the architectural features. For example, the neighbor immediately to the north, 18 College Avenue, has a different roof type than the other 3. It has a roof, gable end over the front door and a separate roof from the garage, whereas the other 3 have a simple shed roof. Another example is their neighbor to the north has a box bay window. The neighbor to the south has a angled bay window, and this house and the 2 houses down do not have a bay window. So like I said, there's quite a bit of variation, and I'm arguing that the proposed window would not create an atypical condition or really upset the rhythm, because it's not much of a rhythm to upset, I guess is the argument.
Just one more note on Carlisle Road, which is, oh, okay,
That's-
okay, I'll let him finish.
And,
Sorry.
Page 2 of those photos, I was going to say, where this housing type is prevalent is the next street over on Carlisle. And there are 2 examples here on 23 and 5 Carlisle Road in which that garage has been converted to a living space. And you can see in both cases they added a pair of windows. Our proposal is slightly different. The 5 Carlisle Road, for example, is about 3-foot high window. We're proposing a 4'6" high window, so the sill would be much lower. We would be putting plantings in front of that to hide some of the additional siding. And again, the plantings would contribute 50 square feet of pervious surface.
Sorry.
No problem. And that's our proposal.
All right, we'll move then to questions from the board. If you have nothing else that you'd like to say. That's it?
That's
Okay,
it.
all right. So, Ms. Harris?
Yes. Are you proposing any changes to the curb cut in front of the house?
Not right now, but we'd be open to it if it was.
Okay. And the Historic Commission had a suggestion about moving the parking kind of towards the right of the property. How far is that curb, the driveway curb from the property line?
They recommended moving it 4 feet, which would remove 4 feet of grass, which would remove 100 square feet of pervious surface. So we thought I didn't think that was a good idea for that reason, but also it's that grass is part of it appears to be part of their neighbor's lawn, so it would be maybe not a nice thing to do, propose to the neighbors. It would also require a side yard setback to park within 4 feet, so it creates a second variance for this application.
And the pavers that are currently in front of the entry steps, were those there when you bought the house, or?
Yes, they were already
They
there,
were?
yeah.
Okay. When I think of this ordinance and no parking, between the house and the curb, this is the parking that I think about, and this is what I assume was the intent of the ordinance. I'll let my other colleagues ask questions, but, yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Caulfield?
Yeah, I guess that does not, with parking in the front, make it look nice, but, everybody has that in this town, so there's not much you can do about that. I do agree with my colleague about the curb cut there, and it, on the paver side, needs to be, taken a look at, just because as you back out on that side, you have to kind of maneuver out of that curve in that sense. Eric, are you going to keep the existing slab on that garage, or is that coming out?
So there'd be a new foundation wall under the new window and wall, and then I don't think the slab would need to be rebuilt. They would put sleepers and a new wood floor over it. So
Okay. And I see that to get into that, you're going to make an entrance from from the garage into that area, correct? Just a couple steps up to that?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes, I was wondering, could you describe a bit about the, I guess, the character of parking on College?
It's an eclectic mix. There's a lot of these houses have the sort of 36 feet you need to do tandem. This house does not. We have 29 feet. There are houses in this area that have the side by side, but they have room to do it on the driveway side. This is sort of a unique situation where we can't really go the other direction to the south because of the utility pole and the guide wire and the trees, and extra variances would be needed to. We did explore that. But it's an eclectic mix of how the houses are parked on this block.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat one more time your intention of the office space?
For what we're gonna use it
Yes.
for? We're gonna have, so the plan is to have kind of built-ins with desks and try and have like one area for each kid, and then a desk for my wife near like the front, and a small couch area, but it would all be basically desks and office-related type
That's
things.
shown
Yeah.
on A2?
A2, it's exactly what he just described, is shown on drawing A2, yeah.
But yeah, we really wanted the bigger window just so we could get some natural light. The light that comes in on the window, the existing window in the garage, it faces our neighbor's house and doesn't really get a lot of direct sunlight. So it is generally a very dark area, so not a great study area.
They'd be relying
Depressing.
on this wall to provide the morning and midday light.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
No questions.
Mr. Griffith?
I found the chimney in the photograph. You hid it from me on the drawings.
The chimney?
I disagree with the Historic Preservation Commission's recommendation that you put a fake garage door in. I think it's inappropriate. I do think that the design you did is appropriate and sympathetic to the neighborhood in a fitting way. That said, I can't in good faith approve moving forward on something that acknowledges and accepts parking in the front yard. And I would suggest also that you have a whole backyard that you could put this space into, and why not put it there?
I'm sorry, what you're suggesting?
You want to have an office space, a one-story office space, build it in the backyard.
Our yard
Where there's room to add on to without compromising the building code or zoning ordinance or anything else.
We do have a relatively small yard. It's about 0.1 acres, I believe, or maybe 0.11 acres. So I don't know where we'd be able to fit that in. We have an existing patio right now, and then a play set, and I don't know where we would be able to fit it in, quite frankly. But I do appreciate.
Understood, thank you.
All right, thank you. So just a couple of questions. One is, again, and I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. I think there was a suggestion by the HPC that you consider creating some driveway space to the right of the garage, but your response is that there is insufficient space in order to accommodate that. Is that correct?
No, we could do that. It just means eliminating grass, like 100 square feet of grass.
And it would essentially abut like directly to the property line of our neighbor's yard.
Mhm.
So I think what Eric was also saying that we would require a second variance to do that. And it would also kind of block our ability to just walk straight into our backyard, because it would then kind of, our cars would be right where our sidewalk is at that point.
Because
And when
the
you-
only access to your, other than inside the house, the only other access to your backyard is through this gate? Is that
Correct.
correct? Is
That's
that-
correct,
That's
yeah.
what we're seeing here?
That's correct.
But that gate would be wide, that gate represents the boundary between
Yes,
you and your
I believe
neighbor?
so, yes.
And that is, it's a little hard just looking, at a photo. But, that
You're
gate
correct.
is-
The
that
gate,
gate
the
is
post.
as wide as the vehicle that is in the driveway.
No, I would say the gate is maybe between 4 and 5 feet.
It's actually on the survey, it's 5.5 feet.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
5.5.
So they said 4 feet. Well, we discussed 4 feet because we need to be 1 foot from the property line. So you could only, without needing yet another variance, we could only go into that side yard by 4 feet.
And do you know if there ever was a time that there was a shared driveway between your property and your neighbor's property?
I don't believe so. I don't know, but their garage for my neighbors is also on the right side of their house, so I don't
almost
think it
like-
would.
Yeah, it's on the north side, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So the nature of the neighborhood is such that, I mean, based on the exhibit that you gave us, A1, that seemingly a lot of the homeowners park forward on their property. Is that correct? Year-round, pretty much?
Yes,
And that's what you do? I mean, because you don't
Yes.
utilize the garage at all?
that's correct.
And do a lot of cars spill over into the street as well?
During the daytime occasionally, but I think the parking rules are generally, like, we can get our street passes, but we have to move our cars back onto the sidewalk. So I think generally people are pretty good about that.
I think this garage is unique, it being 9.5 feet. I've worked on a lot of houses like this, and a typical interior width is 11 feet, which allows you to park various types. And again, it's only 16 feet deep. It's just unusually, like, you could really only get a compact car, and even then, it's still tight. So that's why I think this is a unique situation, small garage, and they don't have the depth for tandem parking. So it's unlike most of their neighbors, their situation.
And now I want to just ask a couple of questions about the space that you're talking about for the office. Is to the left of the office, are we looking at stairwells going up and down? Is that what that is on the?
Existing stair goes up, and then the stair to the basement's from the kitchen.
All right. And is there any space, any open space or crawl space currently under the garage area?
No.
Okay. Have you considered the possibility of opening that wall between the office and the stairwell to create the illusion of more space in the house?
The existing sunroom?
No, that wall behind the sofa,
You're talking about,
that
Oh,
abuts
with-
the stairwell.
I don't,
well, it would only open it to the stair,
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
really most of the stair is hidden by the wall to the left.
Yeah.
But I think part of the purpose of creating the office is so that Gina has a place to go, sometimes to get away from the kids and close the door.
Oh, I see, okay.
and one of our kids, whoever's studying,
Right. Or
typically our oldest.
privacy for whoever's using that space.
And the door is a sliding door? Is that-
Correct, a pocket door, yes.
Pocket door, yeah. And, let's see, the windows, the new windows on the front. Let's see that again. 3-panel, okay. Which would match the existing windows. Wall sconce planting. Right. Right. Okay. So, one of my colleagues expressed an opinion about the recommendation from the Historic Preservation Commission about the front facade, that garage door. What was your response to that, or what is your response to that concept?
Well, it's not desirable from the point of view of the interior of the office, because it limits the amount of light, and it feels like you're in a garage. So that's the inspiration, and then the idea is how to make it look contextually natural from the outside, and the idea here is make it look like a living space, just like another living space. And that I'm not sure that we're upsetting the historic character of the house or the block in any way by swapping out the garage door opening for the window, as long as we're not changing the footprint or the roof line or any of the other more attractive features.
Okay, all right. Okay, very good. Are there any other questions from the board? Are there members of the public that would like to ask questions or make a statement? Yes.
My leg fell asleep. Can you take that microphone and identify yourself, please? And I suggest you let him do questions and comments at the same time.
Yes, I think so.
I'm gonna swear. So identify yourself, please.
My name is Frank Rubacki, Rubacky,
And your address.
398 Upper Mountain Avenue in Montclair.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that any comment you're going to make will be the truth, the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can ask questions and make comments.
Okay, I'll start with my questions. Good evening.
Good evening.
I guess my question is probably first with the board. Well, let me ask the architect. Does this approval run with the land or run with the building? In other words, if this building doesn't stay there, does the front yard parking remain with the land?
It's a legal question. You want to know if the board grants a variance, does it run with the land?
Yes,
The answer is yes.
thank you. So you could alter the house in different ways and still have front yard parking. Okay, I just want to make sure. Is there any other house on College Avenue with a double wide driveway or with legal front yard parking?
I'm not aware if there
Okay.
is.
Did you make improvements to the house? This is for the owner. Did you make improvements to the house since you bought it?
I have not.
Okay, so the bathroom and the pantry are existing conditions.
That's correct.
Thank you. The building coverage for an R1 is 25% max. Your house seems to be about 200 square feet less than the maximum. Why wouldn't you use that available building coverage for this purpose?
For what purpose?
To create more living space?
Because there's limited land in the yard, as the owner noted, that there's a,
But the ordinance allows you, if my calculations are correct, allows you 200 square feet, and that's only 25% of the lot.
Well, why do an addition when you can renovate the interior that's not being used and can't be used for
Okay,
parking?
so you're doing it for cost reasons, and,
Well, if a practical,
okay.
I mean, why build more bulk?
Why is, so the hardship argument here is what?
There's no place to park.
There's
There's no room to park their cars.
room to park in front of the garage for that driveway, for the garage width. So
Not
you
two
want to add
cars.
2 cars. You want to be able to park 2 cars, is the hardship.
They're parking 2 cars now.
But it's not legal. Correct.
I don't know how to answer that.
It's an existing condition, it's a non-conforming situation, whatever.
I think what he's asking, are you aware whether the parking in the front of the house, contrary to the ordinance, is a lawfully created pre-existing condition, or is it just a pre-existing condition?
We don't know because it was like that when they purchased the home.
Okay.
The answer is he doesn't know.
Yes, thank you. The properties you showed on Carlisle, number 5, particular, is that, do you know if that is a legal parking arrangement?
I don't know the history.
You said your intent, your future intent as homeowners would be for your spouse to use it for her therapist role. Is that what I
Well,
heard?
The goal is to use it for my children to have a study room and for my wife to use as an office while she's studying over the next couple of years. There's no plan for her to have clients
Okay.
in the space itself. if
All right,
that's what
thank
you're
you for
asking. Yeah.
clarifying that. Would you accept a condition that the plantings would not obscure the front elevation, the facade of the first floor? There would be minimal, and by minimal, I mean less than 3.5 feet high. Here's my concern. My concern is you have one side of your house, you have a 35-foot setback from the street. The other side of the house, you have a 29.5-foot setback to the street. You're going to put 5 feet of planting in there between the house and the driveway. So you'll be at 24.5 feet. The driveway will be 24.5 feet long,
Okay.
right? I mean, that's
I
what
think
your
that
plan
sounds
is.
right.
That's what your plan is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My concern is that you end up, or a future property owner ends up with 5 Carlisle Road in front of the house. That photograph of 5 Carlisle that was presented, which, quite frankly, 5 is not as bad as 23. 23 Carlisle was exactly why we have this ordinance. It's bad. Anyway, so would you accept the condition that that driveway will be no shorter? In other words, I don't want to see a little, like, parking space in front of the house. I'd rather it look like a driveway, it serve as a driveway, and plus you'd have more length to get the cars further away from the street. If you shorten it to a permissible parking space in this town, which is 19 feet, often 18 feet, you're that much closer, the car will be that much closer to the sidewalk, to the street, and aesthetically less appealing. So what I'm asking is that you don't shorten it. You make a condition that you can't shorten it. Yes, you can park right over the sidewalk, but I'm just saying,
No,
I'd
no,
rather have
I
it
think-
longer than shorter.
If you do look, I mean, there's more than 5 feet give here. I mean, the Volvos are that's our SUV. That's the bigger of the car, and it's
Yes, but
it's
you're gonna
far
put-
it's far more than 5 feet from the house. I mean, I think our concern was that it would look nicer and more welcoming and adding more greenery as opposed to having
Yes,
a window out
and
into
I'm
the
fine with
to
that.
the
I just don't
garage,
want
but-
it, I just don't want, what I'm worried about is a future owner putting in a row of arborvitae that are 6, 7 feet tall, that
Well,
are
there-
25 feet. And since it runs with the property,
Mhm.
we can't know what a future owner is going to do with that property. So if we make it a condition, we can put some type of control over what a future owner might do. That's all I'm getting at. Okay. One moment, please. I think those are. I'll just go to comments then, please. One, would be an anomaly for the street. This would be the first approved front yard parking situation on this street. And you should be very aware of that. I live on a street where front yard parking is the rule rather than exceptions for large parts of it. And I live on a nice street, Upper Mountain Avenue. I would say 40% of the properties between Bellevue and Claremont, on the lower side at least, have front yard parking. It looks nicer, but it's still front yard parking. And I remember this board rejected front yard parking for a very affordable house on Orange Road, next to the business district, because it was simply front yard parking. So my challenge to this board is, one, if you're going to put in front yard parking, be consistent about it, especially in neighborhoods that don't have it, don't necessarily have a hardship. And I don't see a hardship here. I appreciate it, but I think it would make a difference. So I would do not support this. I find this, either the zoning board has to make a decision on how they're going to handle front yard parking or not. But right now, you're just doing one-offs and you're finding reasons to justify it that, quite frankly, are not very good. And this is something that's been going on for years. I've been watching these applications for years. So the second thing is, we're doing a rewrite of the master plan, the land use plan. We're also talking about affordable housing in a significant way in this town. And the planning department has made presentations, and I'm sure it's going to be part of all our master plan element documents where appropriate, where they're going to insert the concept of the missing middle housing. It's not the affordable housing with capital A, capital H. It's just what Montclair used to be more like, where it was more affordable. And there is going to be an intent to bring zoning forth that will enable this or maintain the affordable, the missing middle that we do have. When you do things like this with front yard parking, you are exacerbating the loss of the missing middle, because what you're allowing to do is to use the front yard for parking, and that allows development of the house even larger than what it could be. Okay, so this house is maybe 1,000 or so square foot footprint, probably 1,500 square feet total area. It's assessed below the median value of houses in Montclair. It's probably the definition of missing middle in Montclair. Has it become more expensive? Yes. Did they pay a much higher price than what the property was back when I lived nearby? yes. But this will take in very short order, and when I talk about short order, within probably a evaluation in 28 or a little bit later, maybe a little bit sooner, where this will take properties like this on this street above the median price in Montclair. And everybody says the median assessed value is high for Montclair. So I ask you to look at things like this, where we're going outside zoning, which we're supposed to keep the scale and the appearance of neighborhoods consistent. To decide whether this is the place to make a stand and say no, or approve it and say, we'll fix it sometime down the road. Okay? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
You mentioned that allowing front yard parking will somehow make this no longer the missing middle housing. How do you see the front yard parking changing the?
Feel in love.
Because from a development point of view, if I was speculating, I'd buy this house in a heartbeat. It's got a 25-foot setback requirement. It's currently getting the first part of it at 29 to 35. The other houses along the block have a setback that is close to the street on an average basis. You have the capacity to convert this without even dormers and a half floor above to over 2,500 square feet. You have every opportunity from a speculation point of view to almost double the size of this house.
No way.
Okay? And, excuse me?
No, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, well, you look at the zoning, I look at the zoning, I come up with different numbers. The first floor footprint right now is 1,057. The point is, you have 25% building coverage of a 5,000 square foot lot. Okay, so you can get a very substantial, you can get a 1,200 square foot footprint. 2 floors is 24, add another 500 or so, 600 for a half story. And you can convert this house to double the size. And you don't have to worry about parking because you're in the front yard. So that's how it's going to happen. I can guarantee. If it doesn't happen with this house, it'll happen to more of these houses in these type of neighborhoods. And that's where you'll lose the missing middle. And you won't see it coming until it's done.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And Zainab, can I ask you a question? I don't have the residential improvement standards in front of me. How many parking spots are required for a house this size with this many bedrooms?
I believe it's 2.
It's 2.
I'd have to double check. Is it, how many bedrooms are there?
3.
Yeah, it's 2,
Okay.
I believe.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
For the applicant, there's a walk that goes around the side of your house that
Yes.
is connected to the existing driveway. Are you planning,
Sorry, go ahead.
are you planning to make any changes to that walk at
No.
all? Okay.
No.
So it's just going to kind of terminate at the landscaping bed that you have?
Oh, I see what you're saying, because we were gonna do the additional, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, we hadn't addressed that in the planning yet.
Okay, thank you.
Probably the walkway would extend forward a few feet so that it touches the driveway. So there'd be a small 10 square feet extension to connect it to the driveway is probably what I would recommend if we were to do this.
And extend the mulch, we have about this much mulch on the side of the house, because it's
Right.
really narrow, just extend that another 5 feet, I suppose.
Right.
So in light of what Mr. Rabaki was posing in terms of alternatives, did you ever consider the possibility of bumping out the garage itself in order to enlarge the space to facilitate parking?
bumping, I didn't really understand what he was proposing. So he was saying building in front of the
Of
house?
course, he was talking about building on to the back of the house.
On the back of the house.
But
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question in terms of the garage itself. Had you considered the possibility of expanding the garage, bumping out, since you do have some space on the side of the house, in order to enlarge the garage so that you could facilitate parking?
I don't know how that would
Yeah, I mean,
look. If we just built out just the side of the garage while maintaining.
We
the
wouldn't
top.
be allowed, the zoning side yard setback wouldn't allow us to bump out to the
Wouldn't give you
side.
enough space,
Um,
is what you're saying.
There's no space to the side. To go back would, the small kitchen, there's no, I mean, other than that pantry that it takes a carve out of the garage, you would be removing the pantry, so there would be a, kind of a domino effect where you'd have to, if you killed the pantry, you still wouldn't have the width, so it wouldn't really help. We would need a side yard variance for the footprint of the house, if to make that garage work.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you read the ordinance from which you need relief? The notice says section 347-46C, but that's not right. I think it's 34B, so can you first check?
I'll just clarify that that is the ordinance that is for the zone, but the text is in 36C. Because our ordinance says to reference back to the RO zone requirements for height and accessory structure setbacks, but the code section is still 46C.
46C.
It's not the best system, I will say.
Setback for accessory structures, parking areas, and driveways shall be the same as the RO zone. If I go to the RO zone, then I find 34B. So can you have the ordinance in front of you? I do.
I
do
don't
not.
think we do. yeah.
I just want to read it so you know what relief they're seeking. It says, no accessory structure, nor any off-street parking area, whether or not within a garage, shall be located between the main building and the curb of the street on which the building fronts, provided, however, a driveway leading to a garage, which is in, beside, or behind the main building, shall be permissible. So my question is, right now, there's a garage. I know that he's not using it for a garage. You can look in the pictures, he's storing stuff in there. And I know
Right.
he's testified the garage is too small, he can't fit the car.
That's right.
The two cars that are parked in the driveway, is that permitted under 34B, which is incorporated by reference by 46C, or not?
What we're looking for, we're looking for a variance to continue to park when there's no longer a
You're
garage.
looking for a variance to continue to park how you're parking, contrary to the ordinance, basically to formalize what you're doing now in order to be able to eliminate the garage by converting it to the proposal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you haven't taken a look to see, this ordinance says it was adopted in 1980. Do you know when that house was built?
1950s.
I think that's right, yeah.
But you haven't looked to see if you have a lawfully created pre-existing non-conforming at least parking of one car. You don't want two cars, right? You don't know.
No.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Griffith.
So the question I ask is that when we bought the house when?
2020.
2020. So in 2020, what was the law? I believe in 2020, I need his attention, but in 2020, my question is my understanding is the law still required that you can't park in front of between the house and the street. And you bought the house, it had a garage, and that was the constraint. When you bought it, you knew it when you bought it, or should have known,
It was
right?
a Yes, we bought a house with a garage that was essentially non-functional, which just by the act of purchasing the house, we realized that we were not gonna be able to comply with this law. But yeah, I guess
Right.
that's true. I am not familiar with the law, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But, yes.
And, so, I mean, you could buy a car small enough to fit in the garage. It's not impossible.
We have a small, older BMW that I don't think can fit in there. And, yeah.
Understood. Anyway, thank you.
All right. Are there any other members of the public that would like to raise a question or offer a comment about this application? All right. So is there anything else that you'd like to say about this before we then discuss this as a zoning board?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. So we'll turn to Ms. Harris.
I take no issue with the garage conversion. I understand your need for space and the fact that it's not functional as a garage. And though I don't care for the parking, the existing parking in front of your steps, I understand it's an existing condition. You purchased the house that way. And so by virtue of you pursuing this conversion, you're basically exposing the fact that this parking is not non-conforming to the zoning ordinance. I mean, I'm inclined to grant the ordinance just because this is, I'm sorry, the variance, thank you. Just because this is an existing condition, this is how you use the property today. Even if you weren't converting the garage, it's not functional for a car today, so you wouldn't be in compliance of the residential standards in terms of parking anyway. So I think that is a hardship because the existing garage does not actually meet the requirements of a functional garage today. So as much as I think this is a very unattractive solution to your parking issue, I don't see another solution because you're not allowed to park on the street. So I would be inclined to grant the variance.
Mr. Colville?
I mean, I think there are other factors in town that make this town hard for affordability aspects, not just, you know, the two cars that are parking here and making this house, you know, somewhat affordable for, non-affordable for other people than non. You know, the way it's such a, you know, if the ordinance came out in 1980, this house is in the 1950s, it's kind of hard to, you know, view this house in that form of like kind of disciplinarian. That's just unfair. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a hardship in my mind. I think the bigger issues of Montclair and like how granting this for me is going to, you know, destroy the fabric of Montclair and the parkability is, I think it's a bigger issue. But to force you not to be able to park your cars there when as we state, you know, then let's have on-street parking at night. That will freak people out as well. So, you know, I think this is the better of the options. And, you know, I mean, I think as you buy a house, I think you're going to have, like, for me, like, I'm never going to buy a house with electricity lines in the back. I mean, now when I go to houses, I'm not going to buy houses with front yard parking. I don't know. I'm just not sure where this ends. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
I'm trying to weigh all the competing interests in my head. You know, on one hand, there's clearly a storied, you know, history with respect to the ordinance and front yard parking. At the same time, given the 0.11 acres of your lot, that is comparatively small, which does pose a hardship. And then with, you know, 3 kids, that's another hardship. But I'm generally in favor of your application, given how it's been presented. My only concern would be, in the spirit of it running with the land, should you choose to alter your property at a later point, to just put in some conditional safeguards, should you choose to do things that you can't think of right now, but you might think of later.
Mr. Moore?
I'm generally in favor of the application, taking into consideration that it's a 9-foot width, which is the minimum requirement in the current, well, for parking, and your current vehicle doesn't fit within that space. So I could see that being a hardship. In addition to your family dynamics, and this is a home in which, you know, you're looking to, well, live and work, right? And have your quiet enjoyment. So I'm in favor. I would place a condition that the driveway becomes no shorter than 24 feet, and that you don't have plants that go above the windows. And, you know, it's a tough decision, though, because it seems as though there's, you know, already a rule in place in terms of having how the parking is currently. So I think that there's certainly going to need to be a resolve to ensure that the way in which it'll be situated, how you can park that on, okay? So I am in favor because I recognize the hardship, and I don't think that it will be a detriment to the street. I look at this as a special case, and it certainly is. And with that said, you have an opportunity to make an improvement to your existing home for you to utilize the space as needed.
Mr. Griffith?
I find it very difficult. I do think the proposed design is spot on, informed, better job than any of the recommendations from the Historic Preservation Committee. On the other hand, I do think that there's an opportunity to create the same space in the backyard, and I don't feel like that's been explored or adequately considered to make this the only option. If we approve this, we in essence say it's okay to park in the front yard. And that means everybody else on your block will be in here, and everybody else on other blocks will want to piggyback on this precedent, which I'm not in favor of creating. So I would not be in support of this. Thank you.
Mr. Griffith introduced a concept that I think is important to this application, and that is a question of precedent. Part of my understanding is that a decision taken by the zoning board does not in and of itself automatically create a precedent.
That's correct. It's case law, New Jersey Supreme Court, case-by-case basis, it's not precedential.
So that would mean that in this particular case, if we were to approve this proposal, it would not compromise our ability to deny other applications.
It's just, in my opinion, you should make very specific findings to be able to distinguish this from other, because I believe Mr. Griffith is right about one thing, and I'm not taking a position, you guys decide if you grant or don't grant it, but if it's granted, other people will try to use it
Exactly.
as precedent, even
Right.
though it isn't precedent. That's why you have to distinguish it, and I think the board members have done a decent job laying out the hardship about the size of the garage and all that, but distinguish it as much as you can.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm going on this, is that Naturally, given what has been presented to us as part of the picture of hardship, is that this is a neighborhood in which this is a very common feature.
That's
It's
the negative criterion, okay? The positive criterion, the hardship, size of the garage. I heard
Right.
Mr. Caulfield also had
Right.
a hardship.
right,
Because if you use that this is what the neighborhood is as hardship, even though it's not precedential, I don't know how you would, you
Yes.
can't violate equal treatment. You
Right.
can't treat people unequally. So if
Right.
you said that the hardship is based on the neighborhood pattern, then you can't treat anyone else who comes in differently. So
Right.
it's not precedent, but you have that issue.
right. So I agree. I mean, I was going to say that you could certainly see where the strong possibility would emerge that other neighbors would request or claim the same privilege. However, the hardship, which is always the standard that has to be met, for us to make a variance, has to be clear, and it should in fact be distinct. And it seems that in this particular case, first of all, the garage is not conducive. I mean, I think it's clearly been demonstrated in terms of the width of the garage, that it is not accommodating to most vehicles. There probably are some that could fit in there, but most vehicles could not fit in there. It is not an alternative to expand the garage because it would require an additional variance. And while there may be the possibility of doing additional construction to the rear of the property, it is the homeowner's argument that there is insufficient space to accommodate that kind of thing. That's an opinion. That's not a finding of this zoning board. It's just an opinion that has been stated, but it's part of the hardship case that you present. There have been a couple of suggestions. One of them, conditions that have been suggested. One of them is that if we were to approve this, that the driveway would be no shorter than 24 feet. That would be a condition that would be imposed as part of the approval. What is the how far off of the ground is the proposed window?
Bottom of the window and the top of the window, please.
So the sill is approximately 4 feet above grade, and then the window itself is 4'6".
The sill is 4 feet off the ground,
Yes,
and then the top of the window would be
8'6" off the ground. So it's a 4'6" window.
and in terms of the planting, I know that in terms of the demonstrated, the picture that you gave us, the drawing that you gave us, it suggested planting that is probably 4 feet or smaller or shorter. Is that correct? Am I?
Less than 4 feet.
Less than 4 feet. So if we were to have a condition that limited that planting at 4 feet, you would be all right with that?
Yeah, we have no interest in blocking the sunlight
Okay.
into that room anyway.
All right,
that's
so,
fine.
so we would have a condition that would limit vegetation at 4 feet. And then there is also, I think, a condition that we would want to impose, and that would be for the curb cut to be expanded, so that both vehicles would be able to exit directly without one cutting in front of the other to exit or enter the property. All right, are there any other conditions that we would want to?
No, but I take it you're in favor of the application.
Yes, that's my next statement. So I'm going to support the application with those conditions. And
And the standard conditions that were also mentioned before, yes?
yes, absolutely, yes. And so, yes, you have a
Sorry,
question? Yes, please.
and isn't there a standard condition as well that all plantings are native? Yeah, okay.
We'll include that the improvements comply with all code sections. We'll lay out engineering, landscaping, and I believe that's it.
All right, so would someone
Before we continue, I just wanted to be clear of the findings for why we're granting this vote. I understand it's an undersized lot, and the lot.
What I heard was it's an unusually small garage, which would not accommodate usual-sized vehicles. That's what I heard the primary hardship was.
If I could just suggest, the other hardship would be the available length of the driveway. It doesn't allow tandem. It's only 29 feet.
And then I would also just want to say that,
So except you're getting rid of the garage, so that doesn't apply anymore, does it?
Even
you
if it
had a
was-
garage
yeah.
there, but if you get rid of the garage, what is tandem versus side by side? What is the
Well,
ordinance?
It wouldn't, you'd still be parking in the front of the
Right,
house
so we park in the
regardless. If it
Well,
was
that's
tandem,
true.
yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying, yes.
and so then I just also wanted to get, parking in front of your house is not in character of the neighborhood along College Avenue, and that we're granting this because of the hardships that we found in this particular application.
Thank you. Okay. All right, with that said, would someone move approval of this application with the conditions as set forth by the chair?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, we'll have a roll call. Yes.
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 All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
your
Have a great night.
renovations and your driveway.
Thank you.
Take care.
My wife will be very happy. Thank you.
All the best.
Our next application is application 2944 for 24 William Street, Dimitri Charles. This is for variances required to expand the existing dwelling with rear and vertical additions. The project includes widening and extending the existing rear portion of the house and reconfiguring the roof to accommodate a stepped-back upper level. The overall building height will increase from approximately 28 feet to 33 feet, and the structure will be classified as 3 stories due to the width of the proposed dormers. The property is in the R2 two-family zone district and is designated on the township tax maps as Lot 28 in Block 1511. Variances are requested from Montclair Code 347-51 to permit a 3-story building where a maximum of 2.5 stories is permitted, to permit an easterly side yard setback of 3.27 feet where a minimum of 6 feet is required, and to permit a front yard setback of 10.08 feet where a minimum of 25 feet is required. A variance is also requested from Montclair Code 347-101 to permit 2 off-street parking spaces where 4 are required. Notices were made to the public. Taxes
Yes.
are in order.
Yes, both.
Thank you.
Can I ask both of you to identify yourselves for the record, please?
Sure. Allende Matos, I'm the architect.
How do you spell your last name?
Matos.
Okay.
And I'm Dimitri Charles, the owner, homeowner.
Okay, and for the record,
Zanab Gazmi, Assistant Planner, and I do.
so everyone, wait,
sorry.
everyone raise their right hand. Does everyone swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
Yes, I do.
yes, I do.
Okay.
Mr. Matos, would you share with us your credentials, please?
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Eiben Jeena Moon. I have a Bachelor of Architecture. I graduated from NJIT in 1996, so I've been practicing for about 29 years or so. I'm a licensed architect in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. I have given expert testimony in numerous boards all over New Jersey, including Essex County. I haven't had the privilege to be on this board. This is my first time. I don't remember.
Everyone's got a first time.
Everybody has a first time, but I definitely have been, over in Bloomfield, Newark, Irvington, East Orange, etc. All my licenses are in good standing, and I'm a member of the American Institute of Architects.
And you accept him as an architectural expert?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
And for the record, there's no one in the public anymore.
All right, you never know.
That's true. Maybe that guy will come
So,
back.
Mr. Matos, will you be making the initial presentation?
Yes.
You're most welcome.
Okay, and how do you spell your first name? I'm sorry.
Allen, D as in David, E. It's on the title,
Thanks,
of
okay.
the drawings. My office has prepared the drawings you have in front of you. It consists of 5 sheets, T001, D100, A100, A101, and A102. As it's been said, we're seeking variances for front yard, side yard, and 2.5-story conversion to a 3-story, and parking. The existing structure is a 2.5-story, 2-family dwelling with a driveway and a rear yard. It is, the structure is located on the easterly side of the property, approximately on the back 3.27 feet and on the front 3.26 feet from the property line. It has the driveway on the other side, and we have 10.14 feet from the property line. The existing lot is on average 119.5 feet, 120.97 on one side and 119.32 on the other side, on the easterly side. And the house is situated forward on the lot, and it is approximately 8.28 feet from the property line in the front. So these conditions of the site being 30 feet wide and approximately 119.5 feet deep creates some problems for what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to do a dormer on the on the attic, but we have exceeded that because it would not fit the program that we're trying to achieve. And we added a rear yard addition, and that is conforming. So I would like to focus on the next sheet, which is D100. It's a demolition plan, but it shows what the existing conditions of the house is, of the 2-family dwelling. The first detail, number 1, on the left side of the sheet shows the existing basement. It's a very small basement, approximately 5.5 to 6 feet tall. It's barely a basement, so we are conditioning that space to allow for occupation. The detail number 2, which is the first floor, it's a 1-bedroom apartment, and the bedroom is literally 7.5 feet wide. So the whole design and the whole space is really inadequate. The house It's very small, and so we're expanding it for this reason. The other detail on number 3, the floor plan, it's also a one-bedroom, and it's a very similar layout, and also inadequate. So what we are proposing is on sheet A100. And if we focus on the first detail, it shows the basement. We are conditioning the basement, putting a bathroom in, a mechanical room, and an exercise room where the expansion is. I show with the marker existing house and new addition so you can differentiate and see where the volume is being added to the back of the property. On detail number 2 is our first floor apartment, and what we've done is we have two doors on the front porch as exists right now, actually. But what we've done is we created an open plan with a kitchen and living room area, and then we've placed a common bathroom with a stackable washer and dryer closet and 2 bedrooms in the back and a small mechanical for the HVAC unit. This allows us to provide adequate bedroom sizes. The width of the property inside is about 14 and a half feet. So we're utilizing, trying to utilize the space as best as we can to provide adequate bedroom sizes. As you go up to the second floor, there's the door to the left of the porch. You go up to the second floor level where we have the apartment where my client, Mr. Charles, would like to reside. And so this apartment, it's connected to the 3rd floor or attic with the dormer. And we come up the stairs and we end up in the middle of the space with an open kitchen, small kitchen, living area, and we have 2 bedrooms at each end of that floor with a common bathroom. There's another set of stairs that takes you up to the next sheet, which is A101, and this is where we're seeking the 3rd floor variance because we don't have enough space with the 50% dormer width. So we are providing a similar layout to the floor below, a little bit smaller, a bedroom in the back and a bedroom in the front with a recreation area and a bathroom. My client has 3 little kids, and so this is how we set up the space so that it could be utilized more efficiently. And this is why we're here seeking the variances that we've listed. On the next sheet, A102, are the elevation, front, east, west, and south elevation. The front elevation, we try to maintain as much as we can the aesthetic of what's there now. We have pushed the dormer back 5 feet, so even though this is a flat 2-dimensional drawing, what's on top, what we're adding is actually set back approximately 5 feet from the original ridge and roof of the structure. The other thing that we are planning to do, we discussed this with Mr. Charles, is that we're planning to use hardy plank. One of the comments that was made by the Historic Commission was to use materials that were more appealing and durable, and we were planning to do that. So I made a mistake and put vinyl lap siding. We were always had the intention to use the hardy plank material, if you will. There's many other manufacturers, but that is one of the most common ones. And as you can see, the side elevations, just to be able to fit the number of bedrooms that we require for a larger family, we had to stretch the dormer forward and backwards. And so that's how we ended up here. We, in fact, produced construction documents that did not require any variances, but once my client realized that it wasn't enough space. It's just first of all, he's 6'6", and there's not enough space in the attic to have a viable attic the way it was now. You can barely walk. I mean, in fact, it wasn't a habitable attic to begin with. So we decided, well, let's do the right thing. Let's get a beautiful symmetrical facade and go for a variance. And hopefully we are able to convince you that this is something that will be acceptable to you. And essentially, that's why we're here. That we feel that the lot is narrow. The narrowness of the lot is the hardship that we have. And in addition to that, the way that the dwelling is situated on the site, it makes it even more difficult. It allows for a driveway, which is very nice, even though the neighbor's property is encroaching about 2 feet into our property. However, it does allow for that driveway to be able to park in the back, but it creates other hardship, which is that 3-foot setback on the easterly side. So essentially, that's what we are presenting here to you, and I'm open for questions.
Yes, briefly, my name is Mr. Charles. I have a blended family, so Mr. Linden might have forgotten my teenage son. He's in school. So it's a family of 6. I have a 19-year-old. He's about 6'3". I myself is about 6'4", 6'5". My wife is 5'10". And, and I have my 7-year-old projected to be taller than me. And I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I have my wife is also with child. So we have a 4th one on the way. So the initial design wasn't feasible for what we were trying to do. Trying to take, it was an opportunity for us to move into Montclair, and it was the best situation economically to make it work. Also, we want to take advantage of Montclair's school system, the quality of life, and all the other good things about Montclair. So I'm hoping that you're considering allowing the variance. So those are hardships. I mean, one of them is because of height of the family. It's going to be a big family. We're not small people. So.
Mr. Caulfield?
And also,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd like to also say we're not trying to dismiss the integrity of the area. We consider that, but to make it more habitable, this will work for us. That's also, I just wanted to add that. What is that? Because when we purchased, we didn't realize it was in the historic section. So I know we had all these grander plans, and then we found out that we have to, present to the board and hope that they approve what we're asking them to do. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to dismiss the integrity of what the historic society is. Like, we understand what it is. It's just at the time it was built for simpler life, possibly people of smaller stature. So.
How long have you been in the house?
Since January.
Oh, so
and then I haven't actually moved in yet, but
okay.
And
so
I've
you
been working on this.
Okay, and so what you're saying to us is you purchased the house thinking that you were going to expand the house.
Yes.
Is that's I just want to be clear in terms of what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Caulfield.
Thank you. For the architect, on the block, are there any houses like this, like the 3-story that you are going to present? Do any of these houses have that?
There are houses nearby. I'm not sure if it's on the same side of the street, but there are houses that are that have been expanded with dormer and look very modern. In fact, my client sent me a few pictures of houses near the area that do have. It's a 3rd story. They look like dormers, as we are trying to do. They look like dormers, but they're considered a 3rd story because they have exceeded the ordinance of the 50%.
I mean, just taking a quick kind of review of the block when the client was talking. I don't see any giant three-story buildings in that location. So this, for me, this is like the first in that location.
There is a three-family across the street, and there's also, this is not a giant house by any stretch of the imagination. I want to make that clear. This is a small house, a very small house. And in terms of height, the allowed height is 35 feet. We are at 33 feet. So we're 2 feet under the allowable height. We're here for a variance of a definition of a third story. That's why we're here. And because we encroach into the setback. So this is not a giant house by any stretch of the imagination, but I wanted to give you an address, 23, 21, and 25 New Street nearby are houses that are very similar in terms of the dormers, and they're built, they're brand new.
Yeah, because I think we allowed those to happen and kind of regretted it in some sense. You're not concerned with the 8-foot threshold of the building that's encroaching onto us, the neighbor, to having access with the cars going back and forth? I mean, that house, the neighbor's house encroaches on our property by 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Today, right now, cars can get by because the building's not being built out that far. But when we build, if you build this building, it's going to be a tight little location to get cars back there. That's not a concern at all?
Yes, it is a concern. They do have a wood fence. I mean, there will not be kids running onto my client's property. There is an existing porch right now. The condition exists. We're not making it worse.
The only thing that you're going to do is you're bumping your building out.
Right.
So today, if I went up that property, I could go in. I mean, the staircase does come out there, but it looks like I can go in there.
That's what I'm trying to say. Where that choke point happens, it's already a difficult condition. I don't think we are making it worse. We are making it a wall instead of a built structure, landing and steps. So it is perhaps a bit better, but it doesn't. I don't think it makes it any worse. It's very close to the corner there. Now they're encroaching onto our property. That's a hardship to begin with.
Yeah.
We can, I don't know if there's a legal way to make them remove that.
I don't think so. No.
Not in
Yeah.
front of this board, but,
Yeah.
so it's a hardship. It's a hardship for us, but right now, it is being utilized that way. It's an existing two-family.
Okay. The backyard is a combination of, it's not a full, all macadam backyard, correct? There is today, if I go there, there is a grassy backyard, right? So today, we're going to propose and completely 100% impervious in this location?
We would try not to, the side of where the 3.27 side yard is, we would not macadam any of that all the way up to the last parking space. So there will be some greenery there. We would not go for 100% impervious coverage.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just two quick questions. So from the plan, it shows that you would plan on parking cars all the way in the rear. That's correct?
Yes.
Do you have like a sedan or an SUV?
SUV.
Okay. Because I was just doing a quick little measurement, 8 feet for an SUV to squeeze through 8 feet. That's
I've tried it. I had to put in one of the mirrors.
okay.
I closed it, and then I was able to get by.
Okay.
I had to remove some trash and debris, so I had to back it up. So I was able to.
So you're not concerned about the tightness of the 8 feet?
No. I mean, I am, but I'm not concerned.
Okay.
Overly concerned.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Not saying I'm not concerned. I'm not overly.
Yeah. No. I understand. And then I guess. Yeah, so for 33 feet, I mean, I know where William Street is, I'm familiar a little bit with the neighborhood, but I mean, again, in terms of the height compared to like the neighboring houses, what what are your comments on that?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so there are, other structures that are taller.
Mhm.
Obviously, the structure to the east side is smaller than our house. I don't believe this is going to look out of proportion. Again, the house is very small. We're setting back 5 feet from the ridge that's there right now. And what we've done is, we've minimized, if you see the gutter where the fascia is, we've, the highest point there is 7 feet from the ridge, from the fascia below. So we're not making it square, boxy. We're trying to keep enough pitch that would not make it look so massive. So I think because the house is small to begin with, I don't think this is going to seem oversized.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Moore?
So with your design, right now, so there would be a bump out into the driveway, correct?
No,
There's no expansion?
No, we are extending to the rear of the
To the
property.
rear.
So we're keeping the side of the driveway is going back straight. We're not bumping it out. What's happening is that the neighbor it's encroaching into our property with a bump out, but our property staying straight, our addition staying straight back.
Okay.
There
So
is
this
only-
improvement that you're proposing
Mhm.
does not expand into, it does not expand into your driveway?
No,
For additional
it
space?
does not. It
Right,
does
it's
not.
further up
It does
and towards the
encroach on
back.
the other side, yes.
On the other side?
On the 3 foot.
On the third story?
Right, correct.
Okay,
There, we are asking for that variance.
okay.
And that is the one side yard, the easterly side. It requires 6 feet. The house is located at 3.27. So we're just taking that wall up at that same height. So we are creating a variance there on that side. So that, but on the driveway side, we are not encroaching into that driveway at all.
But you're seeking a side yard variance?
For the opposite of the driveway.
Because legally, you go up, even if you stay
Got
with
it.
the existing house.
And right, the air rates.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, okay.
There's
got it.
other municipalities
Sure, mhm.
that allow it, but not all of, many others don't, like this one. There's other municipalities where if you stay within the footprint of the building, you can go up and would not trigger a variance, but that's the exception. There's a few municipalities in New Jersey that allow that. Most of them have, if it's set up the way you do, which is if you're building anything new into a non-conforming, setback, then that, you would have to seek a variance for that. That's what we're doing here, on the opposite side of the driveway. So the driveway, we're good. We're not encroaching on the driveway at all. We're not seeking a variance for that
And a
side.
variance for 2 off-street parking as opposed to 4? Did I hear that? correct?
Right, for parking, not for the driveway.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for parking, yes.
Is that because you have 6 bedrooms?
It's, the residential site improvement standards require 2 for each unit in a multifamily.
Right, this is a two-family home. If it was a single-family home, it wouldn't apply.
Yeah, but, okay. They have it's a 6-bedroom house, right?
Yeah, but it's more to do with the number of units than the bedrooms for, more than a single-family home.
Right, 6 bed, correct. Two bedroom, 1 unit, and 4 bedroom, the other unit.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Griffin?
Looking at the proposed front elevation, there's the existing, says New Ridge, so the existing roof is getting raised, and then there's a second roof that's taller, and then there's a dormer off the second roof.
So,
This one, this elevation.
yeah, that elevation, yeah. So what we're doing is, we're taking, the existing roof right now would never pass inspection with the building department because they use 2x6 roof rafters, and it's in really bad condition. So we're rebuilding it to the existing. We're rebuilding that, right? When you demo that roof,
What he wants to know, if you take a look at section 1 on drawing A102,
yeah,
it
that's what
shows
I'm,
3 triangles, basically.
right, so
He wants
you're
to know,
saying-
which is the original triangle?
So, okay, so, yes, so the first one, the 10.5 to 12 ratio
Yes,
is the original.
right. And you're just rebuilding that
We
in the
have to-
same,
In the same
shape that
pitch,
it
we're
would,
rebuilding.
that it exists.
Correct.
So, okay.
The other 17 to 12 peak, it is just an effect, what it is the fascia coming down only, so that the addition that we're putting 5 feet back doesn't look as bulky. So this is just an effect that we wanted to,
So the second,
the
more
second is
steep-
not a roof.
it's just a fascia panel.
It's just a fascia that
It's
comes
a-
out of 1'6".
It's a trim detail.
It's a trim detail, correct. Correct. And that is to allow for, to allow for better proportions. Because if you take those away, it looks boxy to me and to us. And that's why we.
Yeah, no,
decided
I
to-
understand. The debate is, in my mind, is which looks worse. I'm not convinced that the trim does the job, if you will,
Okay.
aesthetically. You have 3 parking spaces in the back. There's only one site plan that I've found. It has 3 parking spaces in the back, yet you asked to only park 2 instead of 4 required. Why not 3?
We have spaces for 3 parking.
Yes?
But we don't have, in order for each car to get in and out independently, we are not able to put a 4th parking
Now,
space.
he wants to know, your notice said, the requirement's 4, you're requesting 2, but your detail 1 on over sheet T001 shows 3. So you're really asking for 3 where the requirement is 4, or 2 where the requirement is 4?
I
That's
would
what they're asking.
update that, I would update that. If it said 2, I didn't put it together, the notice, but if it says 2,
3's better.
Yeah.
3 is better. So we
You're
would change
proposing
that.
3.
We're proposing 3.
Okay.
Fair enough, thank you. I want to ask, you're a big man. I appreciate what you have to deal with, but from a much lower distance. Did you think about trying to take the ground floor and part of the second floor for your home and do it a 2.5 and rent 2 half floors as a scheme so that you'd have space with the kind of ceilings you want?
Didn't consider that, no. Didn't consider that.
Creating a duplex is what you mean?
No, instead of having the rental apartment on the 1st floor and his home the 2nd and 3rd floor, have his home on the 1st and 2nd floor and have the rental apartment on the 3rd floor, then you wouldn't have to blow it out so high, right?
Yeah, or you could,
Well,
the
no,
rental
it-
apartment could have could have a, I don't know, a bedroom or a kitchen on the first floor and whatever.
The attic is not
Second
habitable
floor, I
right
mean,
now.
sorry.
The attic is not habitable right now. The attic, existing attic of the house right now is not even habitable.
I
So you would
understand
have to
that.
bump
You
out
could, I'm
anyway.
saying that you could add on to the house, but still keep it within the requirements of a 2.5-story home, and make that half-story on the third level, the rental, not your space.
Okay, the attic, right now, that half-story is not habitable.
You understand?
I understand that, and I'm going to say it again. You can add on to it as long as you comply with the requirements to keep it a half-story. It has to do with the amount of usable square footage that you put up there. It doesn't have anything to do with the height of it.
You're saying
So-
you can rebuild it, but you
so-
wouldn't have to rebuild it as high.
So,
Right.
yes, now I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
It would not be possible to have an apartment up there and meet the requirement of the half. You could have a bedroom. We did it. In fact, we already have permits for this. And that's when we realized that it would not be adequate. So once Mr. Charles realized that you can only have a bedroom up there
Well, I want to be.
and meet and not require a variance, right? And not require a variance. Then that's when we realized, okay, we have to go for a variance because we want to get enough bedrooms for himself. I don't think the first floor and second floor, and then having a tiny little apartment on top, we would be here for the same reason. We would be seeking the same variances. So I think this is a more viable solution where you have an adequate two-bedroom apartment on the first floor, and then you have a four-bedroom, two-story for a living space. You don't want people living above you. It's another reason why he didn't want people running above him. He'd rather be above running and have the apartment below. There's many reasons why we made this decision. But putting an apartment on the third floor would be very small and not, I don't think it would be feasible. Just because of the hardship we have of the size of this house. It's 15 feet wide. And we're encroaching into the setback, of course.
I hear you. I think the plans are very nice. I respect the intent, but I'm struggling with if I let you build a 3-story house, why don't I let everybody else?
Well, it is technically, yes, a 3-story house, but the intent is a larger dormer. This is what it is.
No, it is not technically, it is a 3-story house. That's what we live by. That's what we do.
Exactly,
The law-
technically it's a 3-story.
The rules are the rules.
That's what I
So-
said. Technically, it
Okay.
is a 3-story. Yes, it is a 3-story,
Okay.
but we are building it in a way that appears as a dormer house because we understand, the aesthetic of it and the scale of the house. So we understand it. That's why we're here, because we need your help. That's why we're here.
Can I ask a couple?
Yes.
Go back to impervious coverage, so go to your T001, your zoning data chart.
Yeah.
So the maximum permitted impervious coverage is 55%, right? Right now, it says you're at 39.81%, right?
That is the existing, yeah. The proposed,
It says 43.06.
no, that is incorrect.
Yes.
We would be approximately 95%.
Okay, so you need another, you need another variance.
Yep.
So that's not in the notice.
Nope.
That's a problem. So that's number one. Number two, where do I see, where's there a plan that shows me? Because right now I look at the picture that's attached to the planner's report. I'm looking at figure 4. And
You see the driveway coming in, there's a lot of grass in the back.
Yeah.
And the 3 cars look like they're parking on the grass unless I'm missing something. Is there some note saying that you're gonna blacktop the entire backyard and get rid of the grass?
No, there's not a note.
Is that what you're gonna do?
We're not gonna do the entire, we're doing probably about 95%.
Yeah, so where can I see that on these plans?
No, we don't have a note.
Right, it's another problem. I think that this thing's gonna have to be continued, and they're gonna have to renotice, and they're gonna have to show that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they should figure out where we stand before they do all that work.
Listen, I'm not saying cut it right now, I thought I was missing something, and I'm not.
That's a good point. Do you have any more questions?
I'm done, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
There are, a couple of things here. One of them is that you mentioned that the attic is rather small, and a question has been posed in terms of expanding it sufficiently to keep the house within the 2.5 story range. And, that certainly does speak to the fact that well, let me come at it this way. Part of what it looks like you're trying to accomplish is sufficient living space as the homeowner. But then you're also wanting to have space in which you're renting space. So you're looking for income in addition to living in this space. That's sort of like the vision for this property. So there are lots of, well, let me put it this way. There certainly are houses in Montclair that have studio apartments or the like on the 3rd floor. And some with kitchen facilities and some without. So there are, variables in terms of how people have attempted to sort of do the same thing, of wanting to have sufficient space to accommodate the needs of their family, and at the same time create an opportunity for additional revenue to offset the costs of the house or whatever their sort of goal is. So, I put that out there to say that that's something that you may want to look at, because then what that does is it really does sort of free up the possibility of your primary residence being the 1st and 2nd floors, and then having maybe not a family, but maybe having, again, an individual, who's living up in that space. And so therefore helps to accomplish the very thing that you're sort of seeking to do. That's one thing. In terms of the basement, what are you thinking about that space?
This recreation space for the adults, like my architect mentioned, the exercise room.
So it will be expanded space from what currently exists now in terms of what you would consider to be usable basement space. I saw that there was quite a bit of crawl space or whatever. Are you?
Yeah, it's a very, we're actually stepping down from the original basement because of the height. It's very low
The
ceiling.
basement.
So we've made that basement mainly a mechanical room and a bathroom.
Okay.
And then the exercise area or recreation area, it's about 2 feet lower.
Okay.
Because it's such a low, it's probably about 6 feet, maybe 6'2" high, the existing attic, the existing basement, I'm sorry. So we're dropping it up so that we can have adequate height.
And so with that space, if you were to go forward with the plans as you presented them, would that space be utilized by the tenant on the 1st floor, or is that space that would be utilized by the primary owner?
Yeah, just the owner. just myself and my family.
Okay. And how would you access that without going through
Are we going through the rear?
outside and then down?
Yes.
Okay, so you would not be going through the first floor in any form or fashion in order to?
No.
Okay. One of the questions that was raised, I think it was by the Historic Preservation Commission, was that putting a full third floor on this house would overwhelm the neighborhood. I think that's the language that they used. Can you share with this board why that would not be the case?
Well, yeah, the 5 comments that they made, comment number 2 is the one that says literally, the proposed roof addition would destroy character-defining features. And I would say it wouldn't do that because we're keeping the front of the facade. We're keeping that, and we're setting back 5 feet from it. So perhaps when they were looking at the elevation, they thought it was the dormer was coming all the way
Which
to the.
comment is the elevation comment?
Huh?
Which comment are you talking about?
Number 2, number 1, and number 3, we don't agree with those 3 comments.
Number 2?
But number 2, yeah.
That's not talking about the elevation.
Are you looking at the same report? You might be looking at different things. Do you have the memo from the HPC that's right there?
This is
Oh,
the
no.
historic.
Oh, no, I haven't
October
looked at this.
22.
I haven't seen this, no, I don't.
Ah, you were looking at the comments in the planner's memo.
Right.
Okay.
No,
So
this
in-
is Project Review Montclair Historic Preservation Commission.
Yeah, so why don't you take
Paragraph
like a
1.
minute or two to read the
If you
comments
could
in
just
there.
leave that, yeah.
Paragraph 1
Yeah,
speaks.
that's what the chairman's asking about.
Mhm.
Okay, which specifically?
Paragraph 1.
Number 1.
The last sentence.
The commission, okay, the commission determined that the 3-story height would overwhelm the context and negatively impact the streetscape. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think the elevation, perhaps a 3D rendering would have helped, shown that we are set back 5 feet from that facade. So I don't think it would, I don't think it would be detrimental to the facade. Again, we are changing the exterior siding. Everything is going to be new. We're,
Yeah, look at number
Yeah,
7.
but the-
They
but the-
support you at that,
Yeah.
at number 7, but he's asking,
Yeah, I think it's, stay with this comment
yeah.
first, because, William Street, it's, first of all, I think you can, when you go onto William Street, you can immediately realize that there is a historic character to that neighborhood. It's a unique neighborhood, that's, congratulations. You bought in a unique neighborhood, okay?
in an old unique neighborhood.
And then at the same time, I'm sorry. Okay. But, it's, so there, you can see that it was a neighborhood that was designed, really for a very intentional purpose, okay? And literally all of the houses on the street sort of conform to that sort of concept. So it's not a big street, it's not a wide street, it's not a long street, it's a short street, really. But it's a unique street. And probably a lot of people in town don't even know it exists, okay? Because it's not a major thoroughfare, okay? But none of the houses on that street, in my recollection, are 3-story houses, okay?
There's one across the street. There's a 3-story house across the street along with the commercial residential building. It's about 3 stories high.
Okay.
So it's not uncommon, it's just maybe not as many as the other streets in surrounding.
But to the chairman's point, though, I guess what we're struggling with, because it's, I think aesthetically it's wonderful, certainly would be an improvement to what's existing. I think you would have a much easier time if the height is consistent with the community, with the block. So that there is, similarity, which is important to us. The aesthetics and the upgrades and all that we want that. It's great, it'll add value, but the height will stand out. And so we're taking into account the height and size of your family, certainly, right? And wrestling with that. And also to our colleague's point, mentioning if you were to possibly swap in terms of the residence, right? If you'd be on the first and second floor as opposed to the other. So I think, so what we're looking at is the compatibility across the board once there's an upgrade to this site, that it's not towering over the others. Because I looked at some comparable properties. I know what you're referring to across the street, that mixed use or commercial kind of box building, right? It's a little bit higher than yours, but not much.
Right.
Then your neighboring properties are all, they're the same height. Yes, there's a 3-story one adjacent to you, but it's still at the same height as your roof.
Not even quite the same height.
Right. So there's a lot of opportunity in the property that you have to, and of course, our chairman will probably let you know, but probably think for you to think about how to make some modifications and come back to us, because there's a lot of opportunity so that it can work for your family and plans, because of course we certainly want that to happen. Just may need to be some more modifications. And fortunately, you do have a basement. From what I looked at, it looks somewhat as like a crawl space. Of course, you'll have to look at what is allowed with code, if it's in a historic preservation area and what can be done. But there may be opportunity, instead of digging lower, somewhat utilizing that so that for the first floor, so that it can meet the height of you and your family in a comfortable way, and it'll enhance the inside of the space, actually. And this way you're not from the 3rd floor or so going higher than that. Something to consider.
Your plan is, I mean, you're essentially going to gut this building, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, again, that gives you sort of a unique opportunity to envision how this property, and you've done it already. Obviously, you have a plan. So, but I think, given the opportunity to be before this board, you're hearing a variety of thoughts about how you could approach this project perhaps a little bit differently. It doesn't have to be dramatically different, but perhaps some ways that you could do it differently, that given the goals of what you're wanting to accomplish in this property, that you would be able to do that without triggering a lot of variances and without, in a sense, really sort of challenging the historical character of the neighborhood in which you've made a decision to live for the long term. Because as you have presented yourself, you said it's a house that you want to live in, but it's also a house that you hope that your children will want to. So you're thinking of it in terms of legacy.
that's a good thought. And I hope that you can hear that this zoning board is also thinking legacy. So we're looking at the legacy of what this neighborhood is, and how do you continue to maintain that, understanding, you know, that what were the needs of people when this neighborhood was first developed. Of course, they're different. Lifestyles are very, very different now, and I think even there was an intent, as we understand from the Historical Preservation Commission, there was an intent to have a railroad running into that area. So there was, I mean, so the whole ethos of the neighborhood was very, very different from what exists today. But how do we maintain sort of the historical legacy of this neighborhood in a way that continues to build pride and increases value? I think you have an opportunity here. I'm going to sort of give you a chance to take a pause. So you could choose to continue this hearing at this point, and then we ultimately take a vote. Or you could choose to say, I'd like to go back and rethink this a little bit and come back to the zoning board. And maybe you come back with the exact same thing, okay? Or you come back with some modifications that you think. So you have an opportunity.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are you allowed to take a vote even though the,
You gotta come back.
so, yeah. Right, so we cannot take a vote anyways today. But it's definitely really good to hear your thoughts and your good suggestions, and we have to go back and figure out how we can make that work. Yeah, we would like to continue, and we would like to adjourn, right? And then,
And you gotta renotice.
and we will make a decision on that. We were gonna go back and rethink this whole thing, because there's a lot. There's move downstairs, go upstairs, duplex, this, big, small. We're only going up 5 feet, but it just,
And we just wanna
all of
maximize
it,
the
these
space.
reports, by the way, these are not historic districts. These are recommendation. We're not in a historic district, are we? Just for my own notification.
You're in a potential,
Am-
your property is a potential historic resource. So it's not at the full elevation of a local district or property where any exterior change would be required to be approved by the commission, Historic Preservation Commission. But you are a resource, so anytime you come for a hearing before the zoning board or the planning board, the Historic Preservation Commission has an advisory review.
Okay, but it's not binding. Is it binding?
It's not binding until here.
Recommendation to the BOA.
Right.
The BOA, if they agree with the recommendation, then, you know, you gotta live with the consequences.
Right, but it's not binding.
Need their approval.
We don't need their approval. Okay, but obviously, you take it very seriously.
It's all night, it's very serious, not just on your application, all night. all your application.
No, we understand that. We were here the whole time. Okay, very good. We'd like to adjourn and then make a decision. Oh,
I want to give my 2 cents before you adjourn. So when you come back, you're not surprised when you hear what I have to say.
good.
I can't bring myself to approve a 3-story building here. It doesn't make sense to me. I appreciate that you want to make a larger house. I suggest you look seriously at 2.5 and possibly extending out further towards the parking in order to make it bigger. And the basement's going to cost a lot of money, because if you're going down 2 feet, you're probably undermining the foundations. And I'm like, I don't understand, you know?
The addition is going out 2 feet, not the existing.
Oh,
Underpinning, we would have to underpin the existing, but
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, but I'd save the money on the basement and spend it on floors 1 and 2,
Yeah.
or 1, 2, and 2.5, in order to get the space that you need and want, is my suggestion to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Also, if I may, Yeah, so, and then again, just to bring up the, like the driveway again, since with the 8 feet, so I know that like a typical parking stall is like 9 feet, and like in a place like Newark, you're allowed an 8-foot stall, but those are usually reserved for specifically compact cars. My concern, and this wouldn't be like a binding thing, but just like just having 8 feet wide at some point, either someone's gonna hit the house or someone's gonna hit the neighbor's house. I understand that that's not your, that's a situation to be dealt with at a later time, but just in terms of like that genuine concern, I'm not sure that 8 feet is reasonably wide enough for a vehicle of that size.
Yeah, I measured it, it's actually 10.5 feet when I measure it from what we're gonna currently build to the encroachment.
Okay, I was going off of the
No, but the encroachment is 2 feet. Yeah, no, the encroachment is 2 feet. That, it's about a little bit over 8 feet. It's a little bit over 8 feet. So it's at this choke point that is.
Yeah, just this, especially if people are going to be backing out, and then also too, if if you're going to pave the whole rear yard, I would perhaps look for a creative way to perhaps reduce paving the entire backyard, as well as you'll have to provide some type of like a dry well or like stormwater system in the back. And so finding a creative solution in that way can certainly help the application. Lastly, I'd also say if you took some time to maybe like actually get some like roof ridge heights of some of the neighboring houses, maybe you can find something material in there as well.
Yeah, I think those are good suggestions. Thank you.
What do you have in terms of dates, but whatever, you're gonna have to renotice, because the notice obviously is gotta be 10 days before the hearing, and revised plans have to be at least 10 days
So I
before
can
the
do the
hearing.
notices again.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yep.
So the next hearing date that is scheduled for the year is December 17th, 2025. We have not yet scheduled or approved our 2026 dates, but
So why don't you say it's gonna be scheduled for December 17th, but you gotta renotice, and if you don't get the notice in or the plans in, then you're gonna have to get another date, but it's not even, they don't have to continue it on the record with no further notice, because you have to have further notice. But I think you should just tell them, the first possible date is December 17th, I don't know if that's enough time for you or not. You just let the office know.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
When is the time for the board to decide the application expire? When were they deemed complete?
I'll have to check, honestly. It is in February 17th.
Okay, so you've got enough time in your 120 days, so don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Anything else?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Good evening.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Was not expecting that. Tough applications. Yeah.
I don't even know how that happened.